Oh, what's up? Hey, hello, everyone. Wow. So today we are back going to be talking about Survivor Season 36, Episode 11, with a double separated tribal council this episode. I don't really know how I feel for a straight pagonging this episode. It was sort of interesting, but I feel like everything that went wrong, that could have went wrong. So my name is Rachel.
And I'm Alyssa, and we saw two advantages played this episode, and neither of them was played correctly. Ah! So many curses are not being reversed. I'm like real mad.
Yeah, I think watching the episode the first time, I was like, okay, sort of predictable. Obviously, Malolo's probably going to go. Michael probably going to go home now or at some point before Final Tribal, to everyone's dismay, because I was really rooting for Michael. But I feel like with the tribes that were rock drawed, were picked by everyone on the teams, I feel like it was the worst possible mix-up that you could have happened in like any freaking scenario. So you have like a loser team and the winner team, with the loser team Sebastian, Chelsea, Angela, Donathan, and Jenna, and then winner team of Michael, Laurel, Kellen, Wendell, and Dominic. And so the winner team basically has everyone on this season that anyone cares about, and you could just, I would prefer like, oh, the winner team to be the final five, just like vote out all the five losers right now, because who really cares? None of them are really going to win the game. So it's like the first whole travel castle, I was like, I really don't care about any of these people. Let's get to the action with the Michael team.
Yeah, it's like I think I had a similar reaction where I was like, no one on like the Sebastian, Jenna, Chelsea. I don't even remember who the other two people were. Michael and
Uh, Donathan,
someone. Donathan,
Angela.
right. Where it's like I'm not emotionally invested in any of them except for maybe Michael. So it was like
You mean Donathan?
I don't even know anymore. I don't like any of them.
Oh my God. See, that's why I was like, how is that random that it just so happened that anyone that every viewer cares about happens to be on this nice winner A team, and then you have everyone that doesn't get any screen time on the B team. So you really have this like bad mix for these tribal councils. I feel like this part one of where everything went wrong, that could have went wrong, that went wrong, is right here. With these tribe mix-ups, I feel like this kind of thing could have been really interesting, and like it's sort of been done in the past kind of thing, but like with these tribe mix-ups, it just led to sort of a it sort of didn't follow through. I feel like for what maybe producers wanted, or what kinds of big moves that could have happened at these two tribal councils. Instead, they were just sort of duds.
Yeah, I feel like also the fact that no one went to Ghost Island was like, come on, just because it makes sense that they didn't have Ghost Island because they already had so much to like juggle, but like
I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like having Ghost Island, yes, it makes sense because the timeline, it seems shorter, and it wouldn't have enough time for the TV screen hour episode. And so that, I guess, would have made it more interesting, yes, having someone leave the whole tribe dynamics during that time. And like we said last podcast, having the people freaking draw rocks for tribal for Ghost Island, stupidest thing ever. Force them to pick someone to go to Ghost Island. You're losing so much strategy when you allow everyone to pick rocks. And I feel like if they like made the winner purple, made like Dominic, since he won the immunity challenge, pick someone from the loser team to go to Ghost Island. You can't draw rocks. That allows a lot of strategy into it, because who is Donathan or Dominic going to pick? He can't really pick Donathan, even though they're close, because that might show they're sort of working together, or he's trying to exile Donathan. So I don't know. I feel like that would have added a lot of like another layer of interesting dynamics, and maybe something could have played out this episode. But yeah, I don't know. I think it would have been interesting.
yeah, I feel like so much would have been interesting, and meh, I mean, I feel like part of this is like hindsight is 2020, but I would have liked something to like shake things up a little, you know?
And I feel like that's what these like two tribals were trying to do. The idea is interesting. It's sort of like a mini merge or tribe swap. Definitely, I feel like it's good in the sense that it is a sort of like semi-idol or advantage purge. So we don't have 4 or 5 people going to like final 5, final 6 with 6 million idols, and we'll see another Suri vote rip. Um, but I don't know. I feel like it's interesting because it's like since everyone is going to tribal council, you're basically purposefully losing an immunity reward challenge, whatever, to go to tribal council. So you're forced to vote someone out, no matter what the outcome of the immunity challenge is, which is interesting. So I feel like it really allows tribes to like trim the fat. And I feel like that's what we saw this episode. It just speeds up the process. Because with these two votes, especially in this scenario, when we saw Jenna and then Michael, two Malolos go back to back, it definitely just felt like a sped up process. Like, let's vote these people out. We have 7 days left, and we have 10 freaking people left on the island. Like, we need to get rid of some people.
Yeah, I feel like trimming the fat is definitely like a good phrase. And I feel like we definitely got that because I feel like if one of the good things about like the big name players all being on the same side is that two of them couldn't go home at the same time. Because like I feel like if we had seen like we talked last week a little about how it would be interesting if like Wendell and Dominic went in the same vote. Like if we had seen that, then it would be kind of like either Kellen has to win or someone has to start getting a lot more screen time.
Yeah, or even having maybe a Malolo majority on one of these tribes, which it would be like 4-1 or 3-1 even, and then the other tribe would have 2. Like, the odds are just not in these people's favor, it seems like, every single time. And like it's been talked about at the tribal councils, like they are always in the numbers disadvantage. And you would think statistically, when you have a 1 in 5 chance to win versus a 1 in 10 chance to win, it's easier to win that immunity challenge. You're only versing 4 other people, and it's sort of easier to know where the votes might be landing at tribal council because you only have like 4 other people to account for rather than 9 other people if they went to the big tribal council of 10 people this episode. But I feel like even if they had the big tribal council of 10 rather than 2 of 5, we probably would have seen similar results of the tribal councils, because I feel like everyone's target has been Michael for the entire game, and it's not going to change if there's 10 versus 5 people. I feel like it's just easier for them to vote him out with 5 people because there's less like variability with everyone.
Yeah, I feel like the only thing that might have changed would be Kellen wouldn't have used her extra vote advantage because she wouldn't think that like an extra vote for Laurel would make any difference. I guess we could see maybe Laurel going home instead of Michael if Kellen was able to convince all of the like weaklings.
Yeah. Which I don't. Do you want to start with talking about Jenna's tribal or Michael's tribal?
Let's start by talking about Jenna's because that one was the more boring of the two.
Okay, you can start.
Well, Jenna got voted out. I thought it was interesting because, like, even though they were like, they told Jenna, like, oh, Donathan's the one going home. Or did they? Yeah, they told Jenna, like, we're planning to vote Donathan. That's what we're doing. But then she goes, I know I'm the one going home. And I'm like, oh, honey, my poor sweet baby. It's like, I kind of felt bad for Jenna just because she never really like got a story in this entire season. So I was like, I wish that I could feel bad for you going out, but like I really can't. So
Yeah, it was interesting because it seemed like, oh, Jenna was a little bit too cocky about getting the idol at Tribal or saying she was about to get the idol from Donathan. And then it seems like she was too ready to vote at Tribal Council, which in Rob Has a Podcast, he did the exit interviews with like Jenna and Michael and stuff. And she was saying she really wanted to speed up Tribal so that Donathan would more likely give her the idol because, like, less talking, less time to change things, like things would go her way. So that's why she wanted to speed it up, which is like interesting. I feel like that's a good tactic, but I feel like she acted a little too fishy at Tribal Council, like too down in the dumps about being voted out. Like she just basically rolled over and died. And I feel like if you were Donathan, that would be hella fishy.
Yeah, if I was Donathan, I'd be like, excuse me, is there something I don't know? Just because I feel like the same thing kind of happened with Michael, where they were like, he stopped fighting. Either he has something or he's just ready to go.
Yeah, which is good mind games to play on people. And I feel like if you're Donathan in this episode, and he probably doesn't feel bad that Jenna got voted out after watching this week, because Jenna was ready to kick him to the curb so quick. I was like, damn, he's about to save you and you're willing to backstab like your Malolo person when you don't really have anyone else to work for because Sebastian apparently wants you gone and you all are dating after the show. So I'm like, where are these dots connecting? Did you meet and like fall in love at Ponderosa after the show? I don't know. I was just very, I was like, damn, I couldn't believe Sebastian was the one trying to get Jenna out. I was like, that would never happen.
Yeah, I guess I can't connect the dots either, but it was interesting because like Jenna and Donathan had that conversation about like I love you and I love playing with you, and I was like, I thought this was gonna happen between Sebastian and Jenna, but here we are.
Yeah, I guess it really goes to show if, I don't know, showmances on the show, you can keep things separate and then start things after the show, I guess. Very interesting. I mean, for this vote, I feel like you can't really fault Donathan for misplaying the idol, I guess. But I feel like in this scenario, and there's only 5 people around, and you don't really know what everyone's thinking, Jenna's acting super sketch, and like, yeah, you're holding this freaking idol. You'd rather. I don't fault him for like misplaying it. I think he should have 100% played it for himself. I think the worst move would have been playing it for Jenna.
Yeah, I feel like it would be one thing if Donathan and Jenna had like sat together and been like, this is who we want to get out, and we're going to figure out how to make them target one of us. You know? Like, they could have played it a lot more strategically, I think.
There are definitely ways that they could have played it more strategically. And I feel like because Jenna and Donathan weren't on the same page with this, Donathan, if he played his idol for Jenna, would have went home on the revote because it would have been a Sebastian Donathan 2-2.
Yeah.
So then Donathan would have went home and he would have played an idol on someone else, like saved her, but then gotten voted out in a revote. So I guess to think about it, like, yes, he sort of did save himself in a way, because if he didn't, the other way around would have been like him getting votes kind of thing. Yeah, no, he would have went, yeah, he got a vote and Sebastian got 1 vote. So revote, Donathan would have went home out of those 2. But I feel like with this first tribal, there were a lot of ways Donathan could have played this idol better. Like, use the freaking idol to your advantage. It has 2 separate parts, and it was a super idol at one point in time. I think there are a lot of ways you could have played this up, similar how to Michael lied about James's idol saving 2 people. That's smart and believable. I feel like with this idol in particular, you could have said like, oh, it is I'm giving like Scott's part to Jenna. I'm holding Ty's part. It's a super idol. You can't vote for us. You can play the votes after. You can play the idol after the votes are read. Jenna just has to give me the part and I can be safe, or I have to give Jenna the part and she has to be safe. Like, y'all, we are reversing the curse tonight. Like, because that thing happened at Tribal with Scott and Ty, we are reversing the curse. You can't vote for us. Vote for Sebastian or whoever, but like, we are both safe. I feel like that would have spooked enough people. Like,
Yeah, the key is in tribal council, even if you can't like do anything super big, like just making people nervous is sometimes enough.
Exactly. And I feel like the thought of a super idol when there are only 5 people left, people aren't going to want to like, oh, waste their vote and put the vote on Donathan or Jenna because they think that the idol can be played after the votes are read. They would have to turn in on each other and vote like whoever as well. And I feel like in this situation, if you are like, since there's only 5 people, if Donathan or Jenna at tribal council were like, yeah, super idol bitches, like we ain't going home, and we're like, we're voting Sebastian or whoever, just pick someone on that other tribe. Chelsea, Angela, for sure, I feel like would go and vote Sebastian because they're nervous. And like in this situation, I feel like you can throw out a name because it's at tribal. They probably don't have a backup plan because they are the loser team, probably not thinking that far ahead. And I don't know, I feel like that could have been completely doable this episode. Jenna and Donathan still could be in the game. Maybe Donathan with an idol still in his pocket. I don't know. I feel like Donathan could have done so much more with this idol rather than just playing it straight up as a normal hidden immunity idol. Like, play the power up. You are like back against the wall. You have safety, yes, but that could have been a really good move for your game.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, it is the loser team. One of the things that surprised me about the winner team is that they didn't really consider like the effect that the loser team's vote would have on their tribal council. So they never said like, oh, if so and so is voted out, then we're gonna vote differently. Because I feel like they were confident in the loser team being so like loserish that they wouldn't do anything like crazy. So
Yeah, I mean, Jenna had this freaking awkward walk of shame after that tribal where she just like walked straight in front of everyone, sat plopped right down next to Desiree in her trashy clothes. And it's like, that's just so awkward. Imagine if the Michael tribal, they all walk in and they see a original Navidi like Sebastian sitting there. That would have been amazing because you'd be like, how the hell did Sebastian just get voted out? That would throw everyone off their game, I feel like, for second tribal. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like Donathan and Jenna could have worked together better, and maybe that's a fault with these people this season. It seems like a lot of people aren't willing maybe to work together. We've seen Kellen so Navidi strong. We see even the Malolos not able to come together and like try to have an uprising when I feel like in these smaller tribes, when the votes can only go to 4 people in the tribe and it's easier to locate like where you should play your idol, you could have had an amazing blindside this episode in both tribals, I feel like. But yes.
yeah, I mean, I kind of understand why they wouldn't put like a lot of effort into trying to blindside someone, just because it's like with them when they have the 3-2 Navidi Malolo advantage, it's like, how do you blindside someone? Saying you're gonna vote for the other Malolo, you know? Because the people on Navidi are getting so fucking paranoid. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yo, that worked on Jenna. Stupid team. Ah. I don't know. I think with this tribal B team, like, yes, we can expect less gameplay from them. B team, like, we don't see us enough from them to know how much they're thinking. So I guess it was good to see, like, oh, they can think of a plan, a really basic plan, but it's still a plan. So I guess that's all that we can ask from them. Michael's tribal council, I feel like, just went wrong as well. They could have blindsided someone like Laurel or Wendell tonight.
Yeah, they could have, and I feel like almost they should have, because like The way that I'm seeing it, Dominic or Wendell is going to vote each other out because they kept stressing so much this time, like, oh, we got to stay together, we got to stay together. And then Wendell seems really, like, reluctant to trust Dom. Just because it's like, if it gets down to Dominic and Wendell and, like, an immunity challenge, I feel like one of them should just drop out because if they've promised repeatedly not to vote for each other, then, like, why bother?
Yeah, I feel like for Wendell and Dom, it seems like one of them is going to win the game at this point. I feel like after Michael going, we don't really have that many viable options. At Final 8, which is really sad, of people who can win the game and have, like, viewer support of being a winner and not get super backlashed on social media. So I feel like that's only Wendell and Dominic. But I feel like, yeah, like you're saying, Wendell and Dom, if they go to the final 3 together, I do not know how things will play out. Like, how do you pick someone to win the game out of Wendell and Dom duo? Because they are so close. It's like, how do you distinguish between the two when the two were basically pretty similar in their game? They did the moves together, they were like the face together, and it's like, how do you choose a winner between those two? So I feel like if it were a Dom, Wendell, Laurel final 3, Laurel probably gets perceived as like a goat to the end, which is sort of sad because I feel like she does somewhat have a game, but for Laurel to win, Dominic and Wendell need to go. But I don't know. I feel like between Dom and Wendell, it really depends. Both of them have good stories. I feel like Wendell does have a better social game than Dominic, though.
Yeah, I feel like Wendell has a better social game because he's, like, more likable. But I also feel like Dom might be better about, like, owning his moves at the final tribal council. Like, I feel like Wendell could get kind of wishy-washy because he, like, kind of needs to hold up that nice guy persona. So,
Yeah, which I feel like that's why I feel like we will see Dominic making a move against Wendell, which was sort of alluded to in this episode. But I don't know, that could burn a lot of bridges in a sense if you do make a move and you screw someone over like that. I think the easy way to go, if they want to be risque, is to bring everyone to Final 4, have Wendell, Dom, Laurel, Donathan Final 4, fight it out at Fire, and then whatever happens, happens. But yeah, I don't know. If those two go to Final Tribal, like, make it a tie at the end, I feel like that's something that we have not seen in Survivor. Let's see that because we haven't seen it. Didn't see someone in The Bachelor pick a girl and go with another girl, and we saw that. I feel like it's a time for these reality TV shows to do what we haven't seen yet before.
yeah, the thing is, like, it would be really cool to see a final tribal council tie, but also there's no way for them to, like, make that happen the way they can, like,
Jury would be 10 people.
yeah. Or 9 people, and then if it's a final 3, someone gives, like, a throwaway vote to, like, the 3rd place finisher.
Interesting. Yeah. Wendell, Dom, that's gonna be tricky. I feel like one of them does have to vote the other out in order to win, and I think probably both of them realize it. If not, then I don't really know how you can distinguish those two guys' games is the problem.
The thing is, I think they realize that it's kind of like mutually assured destruction, where it's like as soon as Dom or Wendell gets voted out, then the target automatically goes to the other person.
Yeah, so at this second tribal, it really doesn't make sense. I have no idea why Dominic and Wendell have basically never had the target on their back post merge, maybe with the Chris Dom vote, but since then they've been like really sitting pretty, even though they have a very visible, very strong power duo thing happening. I don't know why none of these people want to make a move. Desiree wanted to make a move. She was voted out, and I feel like that was the right move. You can't have these big, strong dogs buddy with 2 idols in their pockets. Something needs to change. I feel like it won't change because we have only people on the B team left. Kellen's crazy, and Laurel's working with them. So they're just going to vote out the bottom feeders now.
I feel like Laurel could end up winning this season just because, like,
she rallies the troops of Sebastian
like,
and Chelsea and Angela.
And Laurel at the end is like, oh, wait, I can't win against Dom and Wendell. She might be able to do it.
Yeah, she would have to realize that, like, now, basically, because in 8, you need 5 for a majority, and she knows where all the idols are located this season, so she definitely knows you would have to split votes as well. And then have someone on your team second backup, and that can get you into a really sticky situation because you're like, oh, Sebastian, yeah, like we're splitting votes between, like just put your vote on Wendell, but then you're telling other people like, oh, put your vote on Sebastian as backup because Wendell has an idol. So if it's like flushed, then Sebastian goes home, and that's like some really sticky ass situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, I guess going back to this trial, so Michael tells Kellen that he has an idol. Kellen, she's having bad episodes, 2 bad episodes now in a row. I feel like her winner stock from last episode went way down. From this episode went way down even more. Preview for next episode shows she's going crazy again. And I feel like she's just becoming more paranoid, more Navidi strong, just more antsy, and it's rubbing people the wrong way. So I really feel like Kellen being so paranoid, not a good move.
Yeah, I feel like Kellen has to go next. Just because, like, she's getting paranoid to the point where it's, like, crippling her game. Where, like, she tried to get out someone that Wendell and Dom are close to just because she is not able to read someone.
Yeah, I feel like she definitely probably has to go next episode even, or if within the next few. Wendell and Dom realize probably that you can't really work with someone who is that paranoid and isn't going to listen and is willing to sort of make these weird, crazy moves and has these advantages to make the weird moves in order to save themselves. And I feel like in this situation, so many things could have went better at this tribal council, yes. Kellen, like, why Dominic tells her to ask Michael to see the idol. If you're Kellen, why not just ask Michael to see the idol? Finish it right there. Either he says like, yes, I'll show you it, which he won't because he doesn't have one, or he'll say like, no, and then you could be like, okay, like,
why not?
It would make her look more paranoid if she's so insistent on having to see Michael's idol. Like, I would be annoyed, like, leave me alone. I'm not showing you it. Go away. But I feel like if you're so paranoid about it, it doesn't hurt to ask Michael at least once to see the idol.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things where in the heat of the moment, she didn't even consider that was like a question. Like, I feel like until Dom was like, ask him to see it, she was like, why would I do that?
Yeah, we need Brendan back. Let me see the paper. Come on. Like, so, yes, I think that's where something could have been better with these people's games. Hindsight 2020, yes. But another with the episode. Why is no one talking, let's vote Wendell or Dom out? Laurel has been having that kind of thought for the past few episodes. Then she went full 180 and was like, ha, now I'm buddy with Wendell and Dom. Final 4, y'all. But like, dude, you can't win against Wendell or Dominic. And maybe now isn't the right time at 10 left. But given this like 5-some, it's so much easier to make a move. I feel like everyone has been playing super safe. I feel like this season everyone just wants to go, aha, Malolo's gone. Next week, let's vote Laurel and Donathan. Malolo, bye. But I feel like in this situation, all the talk was between Kellen and Laurel to vote for each other. The women are going to fight it out. why not turn it around, work together, and vote for the man? And I feel like this could have worked. We see a 2-2 split, Michael Laurel split. And it's like, in this situation, I feel like Laurel definitely could have went home. If Kellen, with her extra vote, why not bring Michael into the swing of things? And you would have 3 votes to put on someone like Laurel or Wendell, and that would be the perfect blindside because no one knows you have an extra vote. People were already confused as to why 6 votes were read at Tribal. If Michael and Kellen worked together in this situation, they could have had a great blindside. Getting out one of the big dogs. Even if Michael went home, he was a good threat to win the game. If you send someone like Wendell home with an idol in his pocket at this blindside, if all 3 votes went to Wendell, another good player to vote out because he could have won the game as well. Either way, I feel like you could have voted someone out who had winner potential.
Yeah, I feel like there were so many missed opportunities, and like that's why this season isn't like a great season. Like it's okay, but I don't feel like it can be a great season unless they start like stepping up their game.
Yeah, which is like, yes, good, you voted Michael out. He is a big jury threat. And for Wendell and Dominic, this is a really good move. Like, you vote out the other strong, attractive dude who probably has a lot of jury sway because he is the underdog this season. Great move for Wendell and Dominic. But if you're Laurel and Kellen having to vote for each other because this pretty boy has maybe an immunity idol again, as Kellen has been saying 300 million times this episode and at Tribal, how attractive Michael is. Like, I mean, it makes sense. Vote the easy vote. Vote Michael out. He can win the game. But for Michael's game, it would have been better to, like, yes, work with them. Kellen, I honestly feel like for her going either way, I think she should have went with Michael. Michael told her he would be with her 100%. Michael doesn't really have anyone to work with, and we've seen that throughout the season. How come no one is willing to bring him in, use him for a few votes, and then maybe vote him out right before? I feel like that could have been a viable option, but maybe everyone is just super scared of Michael, not wanting to keep him in the game because he is scary. But after Jenna goes, he has no one. Unless you count Laurel and Donathan, which is like a semi-alliance. But like, I feel like Kellen could have really used Michael in this scenario to her best benefit.
Yeah, I feel like the thing is they get so locked into the this is my alliance and this is not my alliance mentality that they're not very good at like bringing in people from other alliances to like help them get the votes they need.
Yeah, and I feel like that's probably one of the downfalls of the season. We've basically seen an almost straight Pagong, Desiree, Chris going like, yes, but everyone else, every single other story arc, I feel like this season has been like, let's vote Malolo out because Navidi needs to stay strong. And that was really pioneered with the whole Bradley-Kellen duo. And Michael gets voted out. Jenna gets straight shafted with this too. Doesn't even get an ending confessional at the end of the episode. Michael gets all that screen time. So Jenna's vote out, I feel like, really was overshadowed by Michael. So sucks for her. But yeah, Michael goes home. Very sad.
Michael goes home. Jenna goes home. The world goes on. Like, oh well.
Yeah, I guess going to talk about Kellen, obsessed with Navidi Strong, I feel like she finally realizes next episode. We see in the preview she has a confessional where she's like, no, Navidi is no more. But I feel like she realizes a little bit too late because who is she going to turn to? Is she going to rally the bottom feeders and get Sebastian, Angela, and Chelsea to work with her? That's still only 4. Who's the fit? Yeah, because Donna. Yeah, it's gonna be basically 4-4 next week if Kellen really wants to rally the bottom feeders. If she doesn't want to work with Dom and Wendell, And now she's burned the bridge between her and Laurel because she put 2 votes on Laurel. Laurel is for sure not wanting to work with Kellen probably, and Kellen is going to be awkward and not want to work with Laurel. So Laurel is going to be with the foursome of Wendell, Dom, and Donathan. I feel like something's, I don't know, idol play or something's going to have to break because I feel like these people are too not willing to take risks to go to rock. Someone's going to flip.
Yeah, someone's going to flip, and I feel like it could be Laurel. I feel like Laurel is just like, she needs someone to shove her really hard.
You think Laurel would flip to the bottom feeder side to vote out Dom or Wendell?
I mean, she is kind of a goat still, so I think she could.
Yeah, I feel like if Laurel wants to win the game, she needs to flip. She has to find a time that's right, and I feel like next week could be a good time, like 8 left. You can maybe split the votes and you still have enough bottom feeder people left to use to your advantage. But I feel like the way we're seeing Laurel, she's so up their asses at this point in time. I would like to see her make a big move, but she is seeming very goat and very good to bring to the end as a goat at this point in time.
Yeah. Yeah. Laurel's like the definition of a brown noser. And I feel like you said, she needs to get her nose out of their asses if she's going to be able to do anything.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully maybe Donathan can push her along because Donathan has been like wanting to make moves against them. So hopefully I think that would be a really good episode, but I feel like it's sort of going to be another dud because it is a family visit. That's going to take up like 30 freaking minutes of the screen time. Not going to be enough time to have anything else on the episode because everyone's going to be crying about their freaking loved ones. So I feel like it could be just like Chelsea or Angela or Kellen going home next week.
Yeah, I'm hoping for Kellen just because I feel like her paranoia is getting like annoying, but I'm not sure if it will.
Yeah, so I think, yeah, that's the tribal councils. Dominic, those names are so confusing to say. Dom finds another idol, and it's David's fake idol from Millennials versus Gen X, which he used to fool Jay. So it's not a real idol yet, apparently, which I was like, that's good. I feel like everything from the past seasons coming back to haunt everyone has matured somehow into real idols. I'm like, wow, there's so many idols happening. Good thing we got 2 things gone this episode. But I really like how this not real idol, it's a fake idol, and you can use it to gain more power by fooling someone to play it. Allows for a lot of possibilities, and I think Dom was the perfect person to find this because he is so creative and he can really frick someone over with this fake idol, and it'd be really, really interesting to see how he uses it, whether it is to like target someone or like leave someone out or like purposefully try to fool someone that you wanted to vote for into thinking they have immunity when they really don't. It'd be really, really good, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like Dominic is also one of the players who I feel like is willing to go out on a limb a little more. And like we haven't really seen him have to because he's been in the majority. But I feel like if it came down to it, I feel like Dom would even maybe use this fake idol on Wendell, which would be really cool. Just saying.
Ooh, that would be a major backstabbing play, but that would be so interesting. I feel like as viewers, we're always wanting like, oh, the most interesting, the next level blindside to happen. And I don't know, I feel like just anyone playing a fake immunity idol at Tribal, you always get really amazing reactions, which is like, good TV. I love seeing those reactions. And so I feel like Dom is the person that can definitely pull something like this off. So I'm happy for that. I'm really interested to see what's to come with that. They didn't really say when it gains power, does it become a real immunity idol if he fools someone? So I guess that will be interesting to learn.
Yeah, it would be cool if like he only is able to use that idol if someone else uses it mistakenly. That would be lit.
Yeah, I think, this whole thing could be really interesting. It'll just allow for some good TV because I feel like we need some spice in these next few episodes, especially because we're going to see loser people like Angela and Seabass go. Like, okay, who really cares? They're not winning anyway. You can just vote them all out right now. Let's fast forward to Final Five.
Yeah.
But yes, immunity challenge. Chelsea wins immunity. Yes, there was a statistic that I heard in another podcast, and Adam Willard commented on the chat for this podcast. And yeah, it's basically she has only had 3 confessionals, and it is episode 11, and that's like the least amount of confessionals that anyone has ever gotten, making it this far in the game, which I'm like, SMH.
Especially because she's won immunity twice in a row. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like, why do we not hear from Chelsea? Like we were saying last week, why didn't we hear from, like, oh, Chelsea and her viewpoint on the whole Desiree vote? We see Kellen still going up to Chelsea like they're the bestest of friends. There has to be a rift there. I feel like Kellen has bricked over Chelsea like 2 times now, and those 3, her and Angela and Kellen, still talk. Weird. We are missing halves of these stories. I would like to know what Chelsea is thinking. Maybe Angela and Sebastian, but like they're not winning anything. Well, Angela won, but Sebastian, he's not winning anything, not really doing that much, I feel like. But maybe he's doing a lot and we're just not seeing it on the episodes. So I don't know. It'd be really interesting if Chelsea makes like Final Five and like nobody knows who she is.
I feel like Chelsea, like if she goes on the family visit, maybe we'll get something.
Or maybe she wins the reward challenge and picks people for the family visit, but then she doesn't get any confessionals with her loved one and her on the family visit, even though she won and she picked everyone else to go. That would be funny.
That would be funny.
But really crappy for Chelsea. She doesn't have a Survivor story.
Yeah. Like Chelsea, it's like she's been on Survivor a very long time, but we have not seen any of it.
But yeah, who's Chelsea? That would be sad, but sort of funny now because it seems like, haha, running joke. This girl doesn't really get that much, though she's seemingly doing a lot on the island to be winning these immunities and stuff like that. Oh well. But yeah, I don't know. Immunity challenge, Dom and Wendell fight, which you alluded to it earlier, Alyssa, and I'm like, good or bad, you two are freaking working together and you are rubbing it in people's faces that you can stand up there for 30 minutes even though everyone got out at 15 minutes. Like, everyone knows you're working together. Why are you bickering and fighting? Just let someone win it so you can all leave instead of talking so much, I feel like.
I feel like the main thing is, like, there were some points where I was like, are they actually upset at each other? Like, they were bickering, and I was like, they seem to be, like, straying into maybe not pulling their punches. It was weird.
Yeah, that's why, I don't know, I feel like it's a bad look for both of them, especially because everyone knows everyone should know you're a power duo, and you're 2 strong guys. You're showing that you can stand on these things for a while over everyone else. You're working together, and then you're bickering about who's going to win it. And I feel like if I were sitting on the bench over there, I'd be sort of pissed off, like, I don't know, it's sort of risky also because when you're in that situation, okay, Dominic wins immunity. Let's vote for Wendell because he was annoying at the immunity challenge and he didn't win the immunity. That would be like sweet revenge for everyone sitting on the bench because they're being annoying at the immunity challenge. Or I feel like it could also be like Dom and Wendell trying to act annoying to not get people to drag them to the end, but I feel like in this situation, everyone knows Dom and Wendell are 2 strong players. Even if they are super annoying, maybe you think they won't get jury votes because they're being annoying. But like, even with all that, I feel like anyone going with Dom and Wendell or dragging Dom and Wendell to the end not winning.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, I'm just confused because I wonder, like, they have to see that Wendell and Dom are the obvious two winner contenders, don't they? Like, they have to see that, right?
They don't have the TV showing them who's getting the most screen time. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like just looking at people by doing cast assessments before the show even started, for us, we can tell, like, oh, who seems like a better player than other people. A lot of people preseason were like, Wendell looks like a god. He looks like the perfect survivor, contestant, player, whatever. Like, he's built, he's muscular, he's got the social game, super cool, fun to talk to from his preseason interviews, stuff like that. And I feel like from that, people can have a judge of character. Seeing Wendell on the island making furniture, saying like, oh, he went to law school, but now he's a furniture maker, which he probably didn't say to people, but like, I don't know, he just seems like he has a good personality. Why would you bring that to the end? Dom, he has found idols, which they don't really know yet, but maybe they think because of his whole feud with Chris. But like, I don't know. I feel like Dom would have a lot of good things to say at a final tribal council, saying like the turning point for his game was when they voted out Chris, and that really catapulted his game because his whole nemesis guy was gone.
Yeah, I feel like the thing for Dom is like once he stopped having to worry about Chris trying to vote him out, he got like super powerful.
Yeah, which I'm like, wow, it could have been back-to-back votes, and I think that's where Dom gets a lot of kudos, and even Wendell too, because both of them had a lot of targets. We've seen Chris go up to Wendell and be like, dude, you're on the wrong side, come over with me, kind of thing. I feel like both of them get a lot of kudos for like being so in the forefront at the merge vote, which is a really pivotal moment in the game regardless, but like being at the forefront of that vote and being like the people who has had your names tossed around kind of thing, to then fall back and sort of let other people run the ship and fight each other. I think that's really good management, and I think that deserves a lot of kudos, because the most logical thing would have been vote Chris out, vote another big dog out. They're threats at winning immunity and they're super likable. Send them to the jury.
Yeah, yeah. I just I also wonder like how many people are like trying to do these things and we're not being shown because it's not relevant to like the storyline.
Maybe everyone has these little like coups and they're talking about wanting to overthrow leadership, but nothing is actually happening. So we need a revolution. Yikes.
Yikes.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Kellen would be the logical, easy vote to go for next week. I feel like people could be on board because she's going off the loony bin. But if Laurel and Kellen and Donathan wanted to rally the troops to work together and try to get a strong dude out, I feel like that would be the way to go. 8 people left. You have a few votes until the finale, which if they're thinking that way. But it's crunch time now. Time to make a move. I don't really see Laurel wanting to work with Kellen after last episode. I feel like she'll be butthurt and go crying to Wendell and Dom. But a girl can dream.
Yeah, we can dream of a better future for our survivor babies.
Yeah. But I guess that was this episode. We've had some people commenting on the live chat. Thank you so much. You have a lot of interesting insight, and we have been looking at it. It's just hard to like multitask, type, and then think, and then also talk and listen to what the other person is saying. But yes, we do appreciate it, and we do see everyone's comments. So let us know what you thought of this episode down below with the 2 tribal councils split up. Do you think more could have been done? We think yes.
Yes, so comment that down below. Comment anything else you guys are thinking of, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.